Hi, my name is Mark, and as you may or may not be aware of, this is Gear Week. Again, I usually release 3 videos a week, and those videos are usually a guitar lesson sort of a thing, a composing lesson / songwriting lesson sort of a thing, and then a Guitarist Week videos, which is a series of videos where I talk about gear and stuff that's going on in the music industry. So yeah, pretty diverse stuff I guess, but I don't really show much gear around this channel, again because I'm not really one of those guys that has access to lots of different gear, and I'm not really a guy that earns enough money to be buying gear constantly, but that has changed, ladies and gentlemen, for this week only. Today, Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday, I'm only going to show off pieces of gear that I've recently acquired that I want to share with you guys. And let me tell you that if you're into gear, you'll probably want to check these out. And before I show you the first piece of gear, I just want to mention that if you can, please subscribe to my channel. You're probably aware that YouTube acts a little bit weird, and if you subscribe to the channel's videos may really not show up in your subscription box, and even if you ring the little notification bell thingy below, you still really will not be notified of that channel's content. So if you want to see into my videos, not only do I suggest subscribing and turning on all the notifications, but also follow me on social media. Not only do I post some exclusive stuff there, I can provide solos and jamming cover backing tracks, and generally wherever I'm up to at the moment, but I always post there about my videos. Again, links for the usual suspect will be below, but in general at Mark Guitar. And since you're down there, please consider leaving a like and share this video on social media. I'd highly appreciate it. And even if you think that's useless, again, if you're into gear, you probably wouldn't want to miss the other videos. So yeah, stay tuned to my channel, turn on the notifications to be notified when the next videos come out. And for the first piece of gear, again, some of you guys whom I've talked personally to, you probably know what I'm talking about. And for the ones who I haven't talked to, but who've been subscribed for a while, you've probably noticed back there that there's a guitar missing. Other than the bass, of course, but that's not really the thing. Usually there's another guitar there and some things happen, and that's what we're going to check out. Okay, so sorry for the mess really. Again, I've been having some rehearsals recently and preparing for gigs recently. Some of you agile ones may have seen this one, but again, this is the one for Wednesday's episode. It's not for today's episode, so I just put it away. Yeah, the one we're talking about is this bad boy right here. And again, sorry for the blowing noises. I have the AC on because it's really cold around here. Let's get this bad boy open. Okay, so let's get the big reveal. Ta-da! Okay, so as some of you know, I actually have this Jackson guitar. This is a KE2 from 2006, I think. Made in USA, ebony fretboard, alder body, I think. Again, many of you know that I'm a huge Martin Friedman fan, so you probably know why I got this guitar. And again, some of you old school fans know that it originally came with EMGs, but I didn't really like the sound of EMGs. Again, I didn't really want to be an EMG hater, but I thought that those pickups sounded a little bit too compressed. They were really hot and with low dynamics, so I decided to switch them. And honestly, originally I was thinking for maybe some bare knuckles like the Misha set, those juggernauts, or even maybe some Fishmans, but then I remembered this video that's actually old by today's standards, where Rob Chapman tried the Seymour Duncan Alternative 8 in one of his ML1s with the Swamp Ash top, and I thought that pickup sounded really awesome, so I decided to get myself a couple of Seymour Duncans. I decided to get the Alternative 8 in the bridge right here, and I decided to get a Sentient in the neck right here. It actually took a little while for me to get these pickups, because when it comes for the Alternative 8 right here, the standard options are either covered with a chrome or gold thingy, or either black or zebra, and this one, which is the Sentient, which is one of those more metal style pickups that Seymour Duncan make. Even though it's also available in black, it's not in the same black as this one, because this was available in that sort of shiny gloss black thingy, and this one was only on that matte black dark gray finish. So because those two wouldn't really match, I decided, okay, maybe I should choose a color. And I was pretty torn between going white on black on white, or maybe going for red pickups. Again, there's an awesome guitar player whose name I don't really remember. I saw him in the JTC or the old Jam Track Central website, who has a white guitar with, I think, black pickup rings and red pickups. And I thought it looked really sick, but then I started thinking about some of my influences, and even though it might be cringy to some of you, I'm actually influenced by Mr. Gates, and he has this limited edition Schecter, which is white pickups with black pickup rings and a white guitar, and I just thought it looked sick, so yeah, this is the look I chose, and yeah, I mean, we can check it out right now, how it sounds. Okay, so as I mentioned before, this is a Seymour Duncan Alternative 8. I think it's the SH-15, but I'm not really sure already. Now this is the Sentient. Again, they're supposed to be like pokey, but because I don't really have them that high on this guitar, I don't really feel like it's too much, if you know what I mean. And it's an interesting setup, really. Okay, so Mark from the Slight Future here. I sort of messed up when explaining the controls of the guitar. Basically, as I mentioned before, this is a 3-way switch. And this push-pull knob here, right here, the volume knob, we have a coil split option. And in here, tone knob, we have the out-of-phase circuit. And the out-of-phase circuit only works in the middle position, right there, sort of that Peter Green, Gary Moore Les Paul thingy. So yeah, now that you know, let's just get back to the video. The guitar itself is a good guitar. It has a little bit of a skinnier neck than what I gravitate to nowadays. Again, this was a full of Marty Friedman influenced teenage impulse buy. But hey, the guitar looks sick, and I actually think it looks even sicker now that it has the white pickups. So yeah, I have it tuned down to D standards, so a tone down. And simultaneous, we're going to my camper, then from the camper to Studio One, and I'm not going to do any post-processing or anything to the guitar sound, and everything is using like this Mesa Boogie 412 sort of cabinet impulse thingy that came with some profile in the camper. I don't really remember which one, but if you guys really want to know, I can check it out. And I'm going to show you some brief sounds, and then in the end I'll just play you the same riff with all the pickup positions and then going from clean, crunch, and dirty. But for now, here's how it sounds in a crunchy sound. I'm going through this sort of a plexi profile, no boost nor anything, a little bit of reverb, because a little bit of ambience doesn't hurt anybody. So yeah, here it is with the bridge pickup. To me it sounds really cool because it has an Alnico weight magnet. I always feel like these sorts of pickups have a little bit of a quackiness to them. It almost sounds single coilish in a way, and because you guys know that I'm really big fan of single coil pickups, and if we're going humbucker, I really like the more low output sort of pickups. But because my Les Paul back there has these like medium output pickups, I decided instead of me having like these low output pickups in a metal guitar, I decided to go for some little bit of a hotter pickup. Not hotter like those EMGs, but these ones sound cool, especially in the dirty tone, which we'll get to later, but just showing you the tonal options of this thing. Again, this is just full on humbucker. If I coil split it, it becomes much more quacky. Again, pretty interesting tonal choices. And here's the middle position. And here's the middle position with the coil split. And here's the middle position out of phase. It has a sort of quacky sound. And we can do split coil and out of phase. It really has this teeny tiny sound. Compared to our regular middle position, but it's an interesting sound, and it's actually a thing that I missed in some of the other guitars, which the Tele has some cool all-around sounds, and the Strat is a Strat, of course, but having a guitar like this, which has a lot of combos for recording, is really cool. Again, it gives you some really interesting sounds, like this split coil and out-of-phase middle position. If you do like some fancy chords with it, it sounds really interesting. Now getting to the neck pickup, again it sounds really juicy but not too juicy. It's good for cleans even in this crunchy sound. Again, I'm not going full clean, but if I wanted to. But when I coil split it, about you guys, but I'm really digging the sound of this guitar now, much more than how it used to be. I really feel like I'm connecting much more with this guitar. Let's go to a lead sound. Again, it's not really a super high gain sound. It's more like this 80s sort of a thing. And this third tier sound is based on like this Friedman BE sort of a thing. Just kicking in a little bit more of a mid boost sort of a sound. Again, sorry for the more rubbish playing, I haven't really warmed up my hands yet, even though the AC is on. But it sounds really cool, and again, for those wondering about the Floyd stability... It works really well. It's a really Floyd Rose, not just a licensed one. And I think that adds to the stability. And again, for those who might be wondering, I'm tuned down using the Dario 10.5s, just regular XLs because they don't really do NYXLs with 10.5s. And they really feel good in this tuning. Again, I think the Floyd itself adds a little bit of tension even though I'm only using 3 springs. But yeah, it feels really good. Not too tense, even though of course because of the Floyd it's a floating bridge. If I pick too hard, it sort of does that flutter thing. But hey, that can be part of the fun, right? It's fun to have a tremolo loaded guitar, even if it's not just for die bombs, like for the more fluid things. So that's a brief overview of the guitar. I'll just put it in a clean sound and I'll go through all the pickup options just playing the same riff. Again, we're going through the same sort of IR, it's still a Mesa Boogie 412 sort of a thing. The clean sound is sort of this Foxish thing, the crunch sound is, like I mentioned before, a Marshall Plexi sort of a thing. And then the higher gain sound is that Friedman BE sort of a thing. So that's the video right there. Again, I hope you like this video. Again, this isn't really my sort of video, doing these sorts of demos of pickups and stuff like that. But again, because it's not every day that I get to switch pickups on this guitar, and this combo of Sentient and alternative 8 is not really the most common of them all, I decided to shoot a video anyways. And as I mentioned before, this is Gear Week, so Wednesday, instead of us having a Guitarist Week video, I'm going to show you one of the other guitars I got. But before I do, I just want to ask, if you like this video and you want to watch more of it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on all the notifications. And most importantly, I guess, tell me what you thought of these bad boys, and if this is something that you want to see more of. Again, if you can, check out some of my other videos after this one. I usually do guitar lesson stuff, like talking about soloing and improvising and playing out of the box and stuff like that. Or some other times I talk about songwriting and composing. And like I mentioned before, I have this series called Guitarist Week, where I pretty much talk about things that happen in the music industry / guitar industry. And if you have any suggestions for videos, I have this dedicated series called Yate, You Ask I Teach. I know, pretty boring, generic, and self-explanatory title, but as you can probably guess, and as the name implies, in that series I pretty much teach anything you guys have in the comment section below. So if there's something you want me to talk about, just put it in the comment section below with the hashtag Yate. But I've been probably rambling till now, so let's just end it with this. Cheers!